this is my opinion on defining anger and how to deal with it. I know people who are passionate on the subject of healthy and unhealthy anger. To start off this video, I looked for the specific definition of anger. This is what I found. I then decided to look up the definition of healthy anger. Healthy anger means observing and experiencing anger without being overwhelmed by it and reacting to it. Anger, in my opinion, is not dangerous to yourself and others until it overflows. Don't get me wrong, it's probably impossible to go through life without feeling angry at some point. But when we get to that point, we then have to decide what we can do with our anger. We can let it get to an unreasonably high point until our feelings burst, or we can deal with it rationally, and even more importantly, let God help us. Have you ever been so angry you did something that wasn't smart, and then later looked back and wondered what you were thinking? Well, you probably weren't thinking reasonably. I want to read for you a paragraph I took from a website called Psych Central. Scientists have identified a specific region of the brain called the amygdala as part of the brain that processes fear, triggers anger, and motivates us to act. It alerts us to danger and activates the flight or fight response. Researchers have also found that the prefrontal cortex is the area of the brain that controls reasoning, judgment, and helps us think logically before we act. Basically, this means that when we are angry, the part of our brain that controls our reasoning shuts down. Therefore, it is much harder to make rational choices. Some people especially have a problem with anger, and some of the time it's not just out of habit. Here's another paragraph I found on the internet. This one's from the website Healthline. Anger starts with the amygdala stimulating the hypothalamus, much like in the fear response. In addition, parts of the prefrontal cortex may also play a role in anger. People with damage to this area often have trouble controlling their emotions, especially anger and aggression. I found this really interesting. This mental health condition in someone's brain actually had an effect on their anger levels and how they controlled it. I learned a lot making this video. Now that I've gone over the basics, I wanted to suggest some ways to control and limit anger. Obviously, I'm not a therapist or some kind of trained professional, but these are just some ideas I've tried or think would work to release harmful feelings. And that leads us into our first idea. Talking to a trained professional would probably do a lot of good if you have severe anger and anxiety issues, or if you just need someone to talk to. Now, from a Christian view, there's another therapist I would like to recommend to you. He actually works for free, and that's God. He has given us his love letter to read when we're sad, lonely, scared, angry, or just need some time with him. This is actually something I need to do more often as well. Another good source to go to is Abide. They have a YouTube channel and also have an app. By the way, I'm not being paid or anything to say this, so all of these opinions are my ideas and feelings. I like listening to the short episode of Abide on their app, and I especially enjoy hearing the waterfall while they're talking. They have some episodes on anger, and I highly recommend to watch those if you still want more context on the subject. Another thing to do while angry is exercise. It's good for you and it gets your body moving and your heart pumping, while at the same time not being harmful or hurtful to anyone. If you don't really want to exercise, you could just go for a walk. This way, you can cool off and also do your body some good. My last idea for this video to cool off is pray. Whether it's in your head or on paper, you can tell God all of your anxieties and let him care for it. The last thing to remember is that you're not alone. You're not the only one who may be facing these feelings. In fact, I looked at the poll results on a website called pairedlife.com where over 1,500 people have voted. Here were the results. In conclusion, anger is a real feeling, and sometimes even a condition, that shouldn't be ignored because it can get out of control. Trying different things to control and release anger can be very helpful, and I recommend doing it for sure. And besides that, you have Jesus to help you.